Matthew 5:21-22 focuses on the spirit of the law regarding murder, emphasizing that anger and contemptuous language towards others are also sinful and can be equated to murder in God's eyes. Jesus expands the definition of murder beyond the physical act, highlighting that hatred and destructive thoughts are also forms of sin. Hey, have you ever thought about how some ancient rules might mean more than what's on the surface? Take "thou shalt not kill" from the Ten Commandments. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, Jesus actually took this to a whole new level. In Matthew 5, Jesus drops this mind-blowing perspective. He's like, sure, you've heard "don't kill people," but I'm telling you that even being angry with someone puts you in dangerous territory. He's basically saying that the spirit of the law goes way deeper than just physical murder. Think about it. When we harbor anger, hold grudges, or let hatred build up, we're actually killing something inside ourselves and hurting our relationships. Jesus wasn't just talking about protecting physical life. He was teaching us about protecting the heart and soul of human connections. Now that's a different way to look at an ancient rule, isn't it? Verse 21. Jesus references the commandment, "You shall not murder," but then states, "But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment." This verse introduces the concept that anger, especially when directed towards a brother or sister, is a violation of God's law and can lead to judgment. Verse 22. Jesus continues, "Whoever insults a brother or sister will be liable to the court, and whoever says, 'You fool,' will be liable to the hell of fire." Here, Jesus elaborates on the consequences of expressing anger through insults and derogatory language. The severity of the consequences, court, hell of fire, indicates the seriousness of these expressions of anger and contempt. The passage emphasizes that God judges not only outward actions but also the inward attitudes and thoughts of individuals. Anger, contempt, and hateful language are presented as precursors to physical violence and are therefore condemned by God. "Thou shalt not kill." Okay, who of us hasn't called someone a fool? Jesus gives us a whole different understanding of the commandments than we get from taking them literally. This is only one of the commandments that he delves further into. Most people don't resort to murder, and most of those that do don't usually start that way. If you were never angry, you wouldn't get to the level of murder, and if you didn't call people names, you might not get angry. Violence often begins with the mouth. Jesus understood that there is a certain progression to sin. If we have a quick temper, we are more apt to strike out first with the mouth and then physically, then with greater violence. This applies to most of the commandments. In another place, Jesus mentions how lust is the first step toward breaking the commandment concerning adultery. It is not a surprise that the 7 deadly sins are at the root of most evil. We all know them: pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, anger, and sloth. We need to take a better look at all the commandments and see what bad habits we might have developed and work to change them. Jesus is not abolishing the law, but rather fulfilling it by revealing its deeper meaning and spiritual implications. He shows that true righteousness comes from a pure heart, not just from outward conformity to the law. He is calling for a transformation of the heart, not just a change in behavior. The Pharisees focused on outward obedience to the law, while Jesus highlights the importance of inner righteousness. This passage serves as a critique of their superficial understanding of God's law. What was Jesus' point in the teaching of Matthew 5:21-24? In Matthew 5:21-24, Jesus elevates the understanding of the commandment, "You shall not murder," to a more profound level, emphasizing that inner attitudes like anger and contempt are also violations. He teaches that our thoughts and actions must align with a higher standard of righteousness, extending beyond mere external compliance with the law. Here's a more detailed explanation. Jesus isn't just reiterating the traditional commandment about physical murder. He's saying that even harboring anger or hatred towards someone is a sin, even if it doesn't involve physical harm. This teaching highlights the importance of inner transformation and righteousness. True righteousness, according to Jesus, goes beyond outward behavior and involves cultivating a heart free of anger and hatred. The passage underscores the importance of reconciliation and peace. Jesus wants us to be mindful of our relationships with others, recognizing that even disagreements can lead to violations of the law if we harbor anger or hatred. Jesus encourages us to make a conscious effort to reconcile with those we have disagreements,